Forward, march. Color guard, halt. Host the colors. And salute. 2. Retreat.
Good morning. I want to welcome everyone to our 2020 Cloverdale High School Virtual Veterans Day Program. My name is Sonny Stoltz, and I'm the principal here at Cloverdale High School. For many years, we have celebrated Veterans Day as one corporation, and as a school with our community and veterans. We as a community appreciate the efforts of those who have made this day possible. Let us take some time to recognize some individuals who spent a deal of time preparing for this special day. If you are an administrator, faculty member, school employee, or club sponsor who helped make this program possible, we'd like to recognize you. Thank you. Students, there's a time when it's expected. It is an honor and a privilege to thank and honor those who have selflessly served our country. Support for our veterans has been mixed through our nation's history. But today, through the efforts of great Americans, respect and assistance for veterans has never been stronger. On behalf of Cloverdale High School, we welcome you, and hopefully you will enjoy the 2020 Virtual Veterans Day.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Why do we celebrate Veterans Day? Veterans Day is a day for Americans to respect and thank our veterans. Veterans Day is a day for Americans to coax the courage and yield of every single United States veteran, both male and female. A few Americans don't have the foggiest idea about the reason we salute our veterans every year on November 11th. It is basic that all Americans know the significance and history of this day so we can respect our servicemen and ladies appropriately. What does Veterans Day mean to me? To me, Veterans Day is a day to celebrate the sacrifice that many young men and women have made to serve our country.
When I think of Veterans Day, probably the enduring image for me is imagining what it would have been like at Valley Forge in those years in the late 1770s, when men who had nothing gave nearly everything for our country. The founders of this country are some of the most remarkable people in the history of humanity, and almost every one of them was a veteran of revolutionary service. they've set a tremendous example that's been followed through the War of 1812, the Mexican War, the Civil War, the Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and the actions that we've taken in the Middle East over the last 25 years. The gentlemen and now ladies who serve in uniform perform a remarkable service in sustaining the democracy that we all enjoy. And the debt that we owe them for the sacrifices they make is not one that we will ever probably completely repay. The strongest thing we can do for them is remember them and recognize what they have given so that we may enjoy all of the things that we do enjoy.
What does Veterans Day mean to me? To me, it means thanking all the ones who have served dead or alive in war and in peace to help make this great country what it is today. My grandpa has served, and it really means a lot to me to know that people in my family or friends of family that have served, to really know what they've done for this great country.
What Veterans Day means to me is a sense of pride, something that we all as citizens can be thankful for the men and women and the time spent overseas of our past. I'm proud enough to, I guess, live a moment of my grandfather who served time over in Vietnam and the things that he sacrificed and the little bit of information that he shared with me over the years and some of the things that maybe we all take for granted as model citizens that we try to pass along to the young women and ladies that are in school today. So some of the things that I'm thankful for, some of the items that we don't think about every day and until we stop and recognize what we have and where we live and the things that we have that sometimes are provided that we take for granted means a lot to me. So thank you very much for all the veterans, men and women of all branches that have served and are currently serving, and best of luck to those that are going to serve in the future.
Yeah. To me, Veterans Day means remembering all of the men and women who have sacrificed their lives and time so that I could have education and an opportunity to
Hello, I'm Adam Hall. I'm with the Cloverdale Police Department. I'm the assistant chief. My current rank is sergeant. I was in the Army. I currently have a son who's active in the Air Force. And what Veterans Day means to me is it's honor, sacrifice, duty, and courage. We try to remember on Veterans Day those that we've lost in the military and their families, as well as those that have come home somewhat broken, and we stand behind them. I've had two uncles that served in Vietnam, and at some point they've had some rough times. So Veterans Day is real important to us as a family, and it's just all about remembrance.
What Veteran Day means to me is a time to remember the ones that fallen for us and the families that sacrificed part of them to help us.
Hello, my name is Deputy Marshal Warren, and I was in the United States Marine Corps for 4 years. Veterans Day means to me is celebrating those who decided to stick their hand up in the air and being part of that 1% to fight for this country. You know, in the military, you go through some of the worst times with some of the best people you'll ever meet. So if you see a veteran or know a veteran, reach out to them and thank them.
What does Veterans Day mean to me? Veterans Day is a great time of the year for me to honor and thank those who have served, who are serving, and who will serve in any branch of the military.
To me, Veterans Day is a reminder of men and women in the past that have sacrificed for this country and all of us to have the rights that we have in this country. And so that sacrifice is a Christian value that I want to hold to in my own life. And so it's just a time for me to remember that on a day where we remember those that have sacrificed so much to give to others. And so I just will remember that on this
What
Veterans
does
Day.
Veterans Day mean to me? Veterans Day is a day for me to thank those men and women who have sacrificed their lives.
What does Veterans Day mean to me? Well, it means a lot to me. It gives me all the freedoms and the ability to thank the people that gave them to me. It means everything to be able to be an American and have the freedoms I do, say what I want, and be able to participate in all the sports and activities in schools that I do. So I'm very thankful for all the veterans that are out there and all the ones that did not come.
My name is Nate Tungut. In February, I'll be enlisting in the United States Marine Corps. And what Veterans Day means to me is being thankful for everyone who has served, will serve, and is serving at the moment, and being thankful for all the freedoms I've been given since everyone who's made the ultimate sacrifice in serving our country.
Hello, I'm Steve Hibbler, the town marshal for Cloverdale, police chief for the Cloverdale Police Department, and I'm also a proud veteran. I served over 34 years in the Indiana National Guard and U.S. Army Reserves, and about 14 years active duty with the Army. I've had many assignments. I spent a year in Bosnia with a peacekeeping mission, and then I spent 2007, 2008 in Iraq as the Chief of Staff of a U.S. Army Military Police Brigade, responsible for all detention in Iraq. We were oversight on 25,000 detainees, 3,500 Al-Qaeda, and we also had about 4,000 protected persons. Took 9,000 soldiers from the continental United States overseas through Kuwait and into Iraq. When I came back, I stayed on active duty as the Chief of Operations for the Indiana National Guard and had oversight on the 22,000 soldiers and airmen that the Indiana National Guard has deployed both here in the state to answer to tornadoes, flooding, as well as deployed around the world. In 2010, I ended up going to Ball State University and I ran the Army ROTC program where we had 280 cadets. I commissioned 93 brand new lieutenants and put them into the United States Army, and they continue to serve today. So as we approach Veterans Day, and I think about what it means, the question is, what's it mean to you? It comes on two prongs, if you will, and one being those that I've served with. I've served with some amazing individuals over my 34 years service, and understand their service, their commitment, and what it meant, and the sacrifices that they and their families have paid for their service. A lot of birthdays missed, a lot of anniversaries missed, a lot of holidays missed. Spent Thanksgiving in foreign countries or Christmas in a foreign country is a completely different thing. They also, a lot of them, I've had 12 that I know personally have paid the ultimate sacrifice, and the ones who served alongside me. But when I also think about it, I think about our obligation, and the obligation that each service member has when we swear and raise our right hand and swear to protect and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That's one shared thing that everybody who ever enters a service has had, and that's protecting and defending our Constitution. Still today, I serve in a uniform, and I've still sworn to serve and protect our Constitution, even in a day and age when a lot of people don't know what's in the Constitution. So every year I celebrate Veterans Day with my family and my friends. I've got a family where I've got three of my sons have served in the military. One of my sons was Special Forces, served 2 tours in Afghanistan. So it runs deep in our family. My father-in-law is a retired Air Force colonel. And right now, the Cloverdale Police Department, whether you realize it or not, all the full-time officers on our department are all veterans of military services. The Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines are all represented in your Cloverdale Police Department. So I ask each of you to reflect on today and what it means to you, and thank those who have proudly served you in their communities as well as abroad. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was with great honor that I introduce our special guest speaker this morning, Sergeant Frank Gardner with the United States Army National Guard. He's our local Putnam County.
Good morning. First off, I'd like to thank Cloverdale High School. Mr. Stoltz, thank you for having me. For those of you who don't know me, as Mr. Stoltz said, I am the Putnam County recruiter for the Indiana Army National Guard. Veterans Day is a special day of the year. We show appreciation for the 1% of the population that chooses to serve. whether it be in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, full-time or part-time. The service is a calling. It is a family. It's a place where you develop an unbreakable bond. From the country's birth, men and women have heard the call from Lexington and Concord to Gettysburg to San Juan Hill to Normandy, Belleau Wood, Iwo Jima, North Africa, to the Chosin Reservoir, to the Ia Drang Valley in Vietnam, to Saigon, Panama and Grenada, to Kuwait, to Iraq, and to the mountains of Afghanistan. To those individuals who sacrifice and still sacrifice in the defense of freedom, we thank you. And I would also like to thank the families of those brave men and women, the fathers, mothers, the brothers and sisters, the children, the spouses. In particular, the spouses, because they have a very, very tough job when we are gone. They take up the role of mother and father, and it is a hard thing for them to do. If you don't believe me, you can ask my wife. I'd like to leave you today with the pledge of Martin Treptow, who was buried in Bloomer, Wisconsin, who left his job in a small town barbershop in 1917 to go to France with the famed Rainbow Division. After he was killed, a diary was found on him which had inscribed the following pledge: America must win this war. Therefore I will work, I will save, I will sacrifice, I will endure. I will fight cheerfully and do my utmost as if the issue of the whole struggle depended on me alone. Today, as we thank our veterans, we also keep in our thoughts and prayers the families of sons and daughters who gave what Lincoln called the last full measure of devotion. Thank you for this time on this most solemn of days. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And again, thank you for having me.
On Veterans Day, we honor all who answered to a service call. Soldiers young and soldiers old fought for freedom, brave and bold. Some have lived while others died, and all of them deserve our pride. We're proud of all the soldiers who kept thinking of red, white, and blue. They fought for us and all our rights. They fought through many days and nights. And though we may not know each name, we thank all veterans just the same.
thank the students, school personnel, community members, veterans, and especially Mr. Rady for helping us put together this virtual program at Cloverdale High School to honor all of our veterans virtually. We have arrived at the conclusion of our virtual Veterans Day program. Thanks again, and have a blessed Veterans Day.
I'm ready.
Color Guard, Chief Hutt. Forward, march. Color Guard, halt. Present arms. Order. Retrieve the colors. Forward, march.